Today, we're going to be talking about turmeric, the spice of life. It should be growing right in your backyard, and why turmeric is the secret to a healthier and more sustainable lifestyle. So this plant's not only remarkable as a culinary delight, but is packed with health benefits. In this video, I'll share 7 essential tips to help you successfully grow turmeric right in your own backyard. You can grow turmeric even indoors. Here's me harvesting up some of the turmeric we grew this season. So tip number 1, let's get right into it, is choosing the right rhizomes. So the first thing is selecting the right rhizomes, and this is crucial for a good turmeric crop. You want to have fresh, plump turmeric rhizomes that look ready to sprout. Ideally choose organic rhizomes with visible buds or eyes. Avoid anything that's too shriveled or dry. You can find these at your local garden center, although in the United States, most turmeric is imported, and during importation it gets radiated, and this will prevent or slow down the turmeric from budding. I recommend getting locally grown turmeric for your seed start. So tip number 2, planting time. Now timing is key in gardening, pretty much every aspect. Turmeric thrives in really warm conditions. The best time to plant turmeric is either the late spring or the early summer when the soil is warm. Now turmeric needs a long growing season, so make sure you give it enough time before the first fall frost. Now here in Florida, the best time to plant turmeric is in the spring, after the last frost has passed, if you're far enough north to have a frost. Now once the soil is warmed up, here in my area that's typically around late March, maybe early May, depending on the specific climate. Now if you're further up north in Florida, it may be May, but typically you're going to do it after the last frost. Now turmeric can be grown in containers, which allows you to control the environment more closely. If you're in an area with a shorter season, you might want to get your turmeric started indoors before the last frost. So tip number 3 is the ideal soil and location. Now you may think if I plant in full sun I might get more turmeric, but this isn't really true. Turmeric is a shade-loving plant. Turmeric also loves rich, well-draining soil. It prefers a pH between 5.5 and 7.5. Add plenty of organic matter to your soil to ensure it's fertile and drains well. Turmeric also needs a warm, humid environment with partial shade. Too much direct sunlight can scorch the leaves, so find a spot that gets a mix of sun and shade throughout the day. For me, growing turmeric is perfect in the canopy of mature trees. It does really well under fruit trees. Tip number 4 is how to plant. So when you're planting the rhizomes, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to do them about 2 inches deep, but you want the buds facing up. If you soak the turmeric in water for about 24 hours and then let them dry, and you can have them wrapped in a wet towel and just let them sit there for another 48 hours, they'll start sprouting buds. Now when I've grown turmeric, I've spaced them about 12 to 16 inches apart. If you're growing them in containers, I would recommend giving them some space. I have seen people grow turmeric much closer than 12 inches, and I haven't tried that, mainly just because it's so humid here. I'm not sure if it would cause more fungal issues with the turmeric. It's something I just can't speak on. But for me, I've always done it about 12 inches apart, and I feel like I get pretty big rhizomes this way. So tip number 5 is watering and care. Now turmeric needs constant moisture to thrive. You don't want the soil to be waterlogged, but it needs to be consistent, and you want some well-draining soil. I really recommend sand. Water the plants regularly, especially during the dry spells, but ensure good drainage. Having a layer of mulch can help retain the moisture, especially if you're somewhere where it gets dry. It also helps keep the weeds at bay, but I find once the turmeric sprouts up, it's pretty good at keeping most of the weeds off. If you're getting a small turmeric harvest, I would say the chances are you didn't give your plants enough water. Now, tip number 6 is dealing with pests and disease. Fortunately, turmeric is relatively free from all major pests, and disease, especially when it's grown organically. Now, turmeric is an incredibly resilient crop that most pests will not be attracted to. Just be sure to not step on young turmeric plants while they're sprouting. And tip number 7. This is my final tip. So, turmeric takes about 7 to 10 months to mature. It's a long-term crop. You want to make sure you have an area dedicated to growing turmeric where you're not going to have other plants, or you're going to be okay having plants there for about 7 to 10 months. Now, you'll know your turmeric's ready when the leaves start to brown and dry. It will start looking like your plants are having a nitrogen deficiency. You'll see a lot of yellow leaves. This is normal. So you can leave your turmeric in the ground and just let it sprout the next year and you'll get more plants. Or you can harvest. At this point, I was harvesting. So I recommend gently digging around the plants. You can just use your hands. You can use a little fork tool. You're going to unearth the rhizomes. And it's a very rewarding moment when you pull up your first turmeric harvest. After harvesting, I recommend you cure and store the turmeric. You can also use it fresh. Now, when it comes to cleaning roots, some roots you don't want to wash off. Turmeric, I've washed off, and it seems pretty good. So I would recommend rinsing off the dirt from the rhizomes. Be gentle when you're rinsing it off to avoid damaging the skin. I found soaking them in putting all the turmeric in a bucket of water and just kind of shaking them off in the bucket seemed to really help. You can use a soft brush to remove any stubborn dirt. The traditional curing method involves sun drying the turmeric for several days until they're completely dry. Now, this requires a consistently warm and sunny environment. If you don't have that, you could use a food dehydrator. You could set it around 130 to 140 Fahrenheit or 54 to 60 Celsius. Now, the drying process can take anywhere from about 8 hours to several days, depending on the method and the conditions. And I recommend fertilizing your turmeric when you plant it, and about a month later once you start seeing a lot of sprouts come up. And I always use organic fertilizer. You can use something like bone meal or blood meal. And this is a pretty simple crop to grow. It just is going to take you quite a while to get it. Again, it's about a 7 to 10 month timeline. Now, turmeric is not just a culinary delight, but it's a powerhouse of health benefits. This ancient root was a staple in traditional medicine for centuries, and it seems like it's starting to make a comeback. Turmeric is scientifically known as Curcuma longa. It's native to Southeast Asia and India. It's most recognized for its vibrant yellow color. It's seen in some dyes. The yellow color comes from its active compound, curcumin. Now, curcumin has a lot of health benefits. Used extensively in Asian cuisine, particularly in curries, turmeric is more than just a flavor enhancer. It's a medicinal herb with a history of Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, where it's been celebrated for its healing properties. So one of the things turmeric's most popular for, like most people know it's for, is it's anti-inflammatory. Chronic inflammation is a root cause for many health issues now. That's arthritis, heart disease, and various autoimmune conditions. Curcumin is the active component in turmeric, which has been shown to match the effectiveness of some anti-inflammatory drugs without the side effects. This makes turmeric a natural and safe alternative for managing and reducing inflammation, and it's something people have been doing for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. Now, besides being anti-inflammatory, turmeric is also an antioxidant. Let's talk about the antioxidants. Oxidative damage is believed to be one of the mechanisms behind aging and many diseases. Curcumin is a potent antioxidant that neutralizes free radicals due to its chemical structure. It doesn't stop there. It also boosts the body's own antioxidant enzymes, delivering a 1-2 punch against free radicals and oxidative stress. Now, there's some people thinking that turmeric is also good for your brain and cognitive function. Here's some turmeric I planted in a different area. I wanted to show how it didn't do very well on this clay soil over here. It had a lot of weeds. This was like bare sand. I didn't add any fertilizer. I wanted to see how this would do over here. But some of the brain health studies linked with curcumin recently have shown brain-derived neurotropic factor, BNDF. This growth hormone functions in your brain to help neurons multiply and increase in number. Lower levels of this hormone are linked with various brain disorders, including Alzheimer's disease. Now, some people believe by boosting BDNF, turmeric may be effective in delaying or even reversing brain diseases in age-related diseases in brain function. So we got anti-inflammatory properties, antioxidant effects, brain health. The next thing it's really well known for is your heart health. Now, turmeric can improve the function of the endothelium. I think I'm saying that right. And that's the lining of the blood vessels. Endothelial dysfunction is a major driver of heart disease, involving an inability to regulate blood pressure, blood clotting, and various other factors. Curcumin leads to the improvement of the endothelial function and is as effective as exercise in some studies. So this is a magical root. It's very easy to harvest. You can see me here washing some of our harvest. I planted out about, I would say, I think 1 or 2 pounds. And I got 7 pounds. And some of the soil I planted into is really not healthy. So the last big health benefit of turmeric I want to talk about is its therapeutic herb with multidimensional health benefits. It can fight inflammation, oxidative damage, supporting brain health and heart health. It's a natural, holistic approach to wellness. Here you can see some of the old root. So that's the seed root I planted. And here is the fresh stuff. And I have some blue turmeric here I harvested as well. You can see this light hue of blue when I pop them open. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. And this is our 7 essential tips for growing your own turmeric. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or a curious beginner, hopefully these tips will help you on your journey of growing turmeric. Here you can see the color difference. Blue turmeric, I didn't have much to plant. I got about 6.5 pounds of fresh turmeric. Here's the harvest. I had some to give away. I have a lot to replant. Here's some bananas and papayas I harvested as well. Nothing like a fresh harvest. This is that blue turmeric. It's really pretty, but I don't think the camera was quite picking up how blue it was. When you first cracked it open, it would start out white, and you could see the color change right before your eyes. I think some people were calling this black turmeric as well. This is supposedly like a ultra medicinal turmeric. There's tons of varieties of turmeric out there. And most of these tips for growing turmeric, I believe, will work for growing ginger as well. I've grown ginger in the past, it's pretty similar. Here's a little star fruit we grew. I think that's a seedling. But there you have it. That's all you need for growing turmeric. Get out there and grow your own, because it's quite expensive at the store. If you find it at the store, it probably is imported and not quite as good, I would say. The color on this stuff, fresh, is insane. It's like really vibrant. It just pops. As you can see, that's the older pieces. But the older pieces are still good. I'll end up using those first. You can see some of the roots there. There'll be a big turmeric root there. But it's a beautiful plant to grow. Thank you for watching.